Imagine a world where cyber attacks aren't just defended against, they're preemptively dismantled. That's exactly what Google is hinting at with its new Cyber Disruption Unit, a move that could redefine how the US and global industries approach digital warfare. But here's where it gets controversial. The line between defense and offense in cyberspace is blurrier than you think. While Google's initiative promises proactive strategies, the broader debate about whether the US should adopt a more aggressive stance in cyber operations is heating up, and not everyone agrees on the path forward. Let's unpack why this matters, and why it could spark a firestorm of opinions. The US government and private sector are increasingly leaning into offensive cyber tactics to counter threats like ransomware and state-sponsored hacking. But the practicality of such a shift remains murky. Policymakers and cybersecurity experts are split between those advocating for bold, proactive measures and those warning about the risks of escalation. Sandra Joyce, Google's VP of Threat Intelligence, recently teased the company's disruption unit at a conference, emphasizing a focus on legal and ethical strategies to dismantle cyber campaigns. Her message? We can't stay in the reactive mode forever. If we want to make a real impact, we need to act first. But what does legal and ethical even mean in this context? The debate hinges on a critical question. Where does active defense end and hacking back begin? At one end of the spectrum, active defense might involve luring attackers with honeypots or monitoring their tactics. At the other, hacking back could involve crippling an adversary's systems, a move that's currently illegal in the US. Google's disruption unit appears to straddle this line, aiming to disrupt operations without crossing into reckless territory. For example, Microsoft's takedown of the TrickBot botnet or the DOJ's seizure of stolen cryptocurrency from North Korean hackers shows how disruption can work within legal frameworks. The Trump administration and some lawmakers have pushed for even bolder steps, like authorizing private companies to conduct offensive cyber operations under presidential oversight. This idea, dubbed the cyber privateer model, mirrors 18th-century maritime privateers who operated under government sanction. Yet the concept has stalled in Congress, with critics arguing it could unleash chaos. It's not about the Wild West, says former NSA official John Keefe, now founder of Scientia. The focus has been on ransomware and setting clear rules for companies to follow. But here's the catch: the private sector isn't ready. Offensive cyber capabilities are a niche market, with most firms relying on government contracts. You develop an exploit, sell it to one customer, and it's obsolete overnight, says Joe McCaffrey of Anduril Industries. It's a tough business model. Meanwhile, experts like Brandon Wales of SentinelOne argue that private companies could innovate to scale offensive operations, speeding up responses and expanding their reach. The industry doesn't exist yet, admits Andrew McClure of ForgePoint Capital, but it's on the horizon. Yet even as the legal and technical hurdles are overcome, a bigger question looms. Will these strategies work? Megan Stifel of the Institute for Security and Technology stressed the need for measurable outcomes. How do we know if we're winning? Without metrics, we're just guessing. And then there's the elephant in the room, the risk of escalation. Critics warn that a US-led cyber offensive could backfire, given the nation's reliance on technology. But Dmitry Alperovich of Silverado Policy Accelerator argues this view is outdated. Our adversaries are just as tech-dependent as we are, he says. The real question is, what will they do if we don't act? Will they hit more hospitals, steal more data, or cripple critical infrastructure? His conclusion? Not engaging in cyber offense isn't just risky. It's already a losing game. So where do you stand? Is it time to embrace offensive cyber strategies, or does the risk of escalation outweigh the benefits? Share your thoughts below, because this isn't just a debate for policymakers. It's a battle for the future of digital security.